Hey, happy Friday. Welcome in. This is a live recording of episode 74 of the Client by Client podcast. Should you stay tuned through today's episode, you're going to understand exactly why social media is the only funnel that you need. It's going to save you a lot of time and money. If this is your first time here, drop me a number one. Would love to say hi and say welcome. For all of my current clients, past clients, friends, family, all my repeat offenders here, drop me some emojis. Let me know what's going on. Would love to shout you out as well. Today on the podcast, because we're a couple days ahead here as we produce the show here live, was all about the metrics you need to hit in order to thrive as an online coach, with an infinite number of things that you could do to generate revenue, to generate clients, success stories, get new prospects in, get leads. And with the need to prioritize all of those things, it can get really confusing and overwhelming. So what I did on today's episode in Apple Podcasts, in Spotify, available today, is I laid out for you the metrics to actually focus on so that you can get clients consistently, get to 15K minimum every single month. So be sure to go and tune in. Episode 65 just went live. That said, that out of the way, let's hop in and let's bring today's episode to life. Hey, what's up? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in today. On the last episode, we talked about why every message matters, and I made the case for you for tightening up your marketing messaging, tightening up the conversational aspect and layer of your online business so that you're far more likely to, number one, get leads and prospects, but also that those leads and prospects turn into booked calls, that those appointments wind up with those prospects showing up on time, if not early, ready for your help, ready to play full out, ready for you to take the lead, and then also increasing the likelihood that by the end of that, you walk away with the client. So be sure to backtrack one episode to understand why every message matters and to get a very special resource and to get access to a very special resource that I've made available for you that is directly pulled from my program, that is probably the most commented, accoladed, if that's a word, piece of training and curriculum that we have in the Get Clients program that our clients are constantly commenting on, constantly wanting more of, and implementing in their online business. So be sure to backtrack one episode to give that a listen. On today's episode, I want to talk about why social media is the only funnel that you need to land clients consistently, to get 3 to 5 clients every month, to hit a minimum of 15K every single month. And by the end of today's episode, this is going to be more clear than it's ever been. And I'm also going to round today's episode off with giving you some tips on what to do to optimize your social profile and a little bit of mindset with it. And then now that I think about it, I actually do have a resource that would be really good for this. So at the end of this episode, I'll tell you about that resource and where you can go and get it. Let me make a note for that real quick so that Jeremy doesn't forget. Because once I get in this and we get cooking, there's no telling what could happen. Let's start off by talking about what happens if you don't get today's episode right. The first thing that happens is that you lose out on free traffic and exposure to your business. And that's frustrating because what ends up happening is that your competition and coaches younger than you and not as skilled nor as caring as you, they get your money. They get your clients because they are willing to implement what we're talking about here today, and they're willing to focus on the things that we're going to put on your radar here today. The second thing that happens is that you wind up relying on one of two things: paid traffic, which we know is going to be a big time waster and a big money waster. It leaves you no better off, especially when you're under 15K. But you're also going to rely on your website or funnel softwares to do the heavy lifting for your online business. And that's frustrating because that's just not the truth when it comes to online coaching, and that's not going to work. No one is going to your site, and so what winds up happening is you waste a ton of time making very pretty landing pages, using the ClickFunnels, putting your WordPress site or your Squarespace site up, only to have crickets because no one's going to be able to find it. So then you go back to thinking about ads. Now you're going to go and put those on your credit card. You have no proof that your offer even works from there. And so we have to do first things first. So that's what happens if you don't get today's episode right. Now let's talk about 3 reasons why social media is the only funnel that you need to land clients consistently. The first reason why social media is the only funnel that you need is because you get free exposure. And, think about even the new platforms that have recently rolled out, like Threads, TikTok is one of the newer ones, Clubhouse, etc. There's something interesting that does happen that it's not necessarily always the case because it's also changed a little bit. When you think about the land grab opportunity, and I know every single one of you listening have heard what Gary Vee talks about when it comes to this. It's almost like the Wild Wild West, where if you were here first, you can kind of stake your claim, and yeah, you were taking land from someone else, but you were still setting up your family for success in the long run. Just unfortunately how things work in human history, right? On social media, it's no different. Whereas if you're there, you get something called the first mover's advantage. So while this may not be the case for every social media platform, there is still the case for newer platforms that are emerging. And there is still the case for when you focus on a platform and you make it home and you use all of the functions inside of it, that you still can have a land grab. There is someone today who's signing up for Instagram who will hit 100,000 followers well before you hit 1,000 followers, just because they were willing to play the game. They were willing to use their personality. They were willing to put their best foot forward, to talk about the pains and problems, and to build a community online. The frustrating thing about the free exposure that I think is worth noting is that it's only getting more competitive. Now, it's getting more competitive, but that's still not enough of a compelling reason for you not to try or for you not to leverage it. And when you think about your parents before you, when you think about the coaches before you, when you think of all your ancestors before you, let's go that far. Social media presents the opportunity of a lifetime, but you have to be willing to leverage it, to learn it. And I know for some of you, the technology is moving very fast, and so it gets a little scary, but repeat this after me. Everything is figure outable. And when you're willing to learn something and you're willing to overcome the overwhelm and overcome maybe the anxiety that can come with learning anything new, I think that you actually stand to capitalize on this. And so the first big reason why social media is the only funnel that you need is because you get free exposure. Now, building off of that, before we get into reason number 2, why social media is the only funnel you need to land clients consistently, is that you have to make sure that you're playing your cards right on these platforms. And there are too many platforms for you to focus on every single one of them. So what's really important is that you find the platform, and you may have to do some exploring that allows for your personality to shine, that allows for you to be the best you, and also to accept that you're not done becoming the best version of you, and that through social media, that can help you to find that version of you. Furthermore, if your offer does not work organically, why in the hell would it ever work with paid traffic? The other issue when you start to think, okay, let me go to paid traffic now, is that you want to do paid traffic because you want a client this month. But the reality is that if you don't know, if you're not an expert in ads, and you also don't have a budget of $1,000 or more, the reality of you landing a client this month from any effort that you do in paid traffic is just super low. So now not only are you out of the time to go and figure out ads and the Facebook ad platform, and not only are you out of the money, but you're also out of the time that it takes. And then your money has a great chance of going out into the ether, straight into Meta's, straight into Zuck's pockets, and you're still without a client. And so it's so critical that you get your offer to work organically and that you test it out in the marketplace with real humans before you ever even consider going to an ad platform, because you can't just run an ad to your offer and someone puts their credit card in and buys your high ticket coaching program. That just does not work. You have to build an audience, is what it's called, by either running a video or a photo that people see. And if they spend a certain amount of time on it or they take an action on it, then you present to them the next ad, which might be book a call, or might be warming them up with your expertise and your authority, more problem and pain-based things. Maybe it's giving them a lead magnet. And then it's getting them to book the call. And then you got to have the conversational layer down that we talked about in the last episode and that we've talked about over these last 74 episodes to actually get them to book the call, because these things aren't going to happen on their own. When you factor all of those things in, pay traffic does not make sense when you're below 15K. I would dare say it doesn't make sense if you're below 30K, because it's a whole other kind of business and acumen and task list necessary in order to optimize all those things and to get them right. The first reason why social media is the only funnel that you need is because you get free exposure, and this allows for you to make sure that you have a juicy offer that the market actually wants. Thing number 2, websites do not convert. No one is going to organically find your website without you putting a ton of time into SEO. And even with SEO, like, you're starting a game right now and you're competing against other coaches who have been search engine optimizing for well over a decade before you're trying to get your first little article. And that's before we look at the effectiveness of the article that you're putting out there. And so for many of you, you think that because whatever coach or guru that you're following, that they have a website, that it's common sense. Yeah, I need a website. But what I would associate this with is that, like, is the amateur entrepreneurs who go and start a business and they're focused on getting their LLC and their business cards and their logo and their branding taken care of. And the last thought, if a thought at all, is about the customer on the other end, and is about the journey from the customer becoming aware of them and the problem that they're solving for the customer, and what steps need to happen for that customer to go from cold to warm to hot to buying. And so if you're thinking about and you're working on and constantly work on your website, number one, that's an endless game. And so it's also easy to blow half of your week, month after month, right? Each week, month after month, on tinkering with your website to try to make it as good as you can. On top of that, having a pretty website is expensive in time and it's expensive in resources, because now you need hosting. You need something called an SSL certificate, so that when they go in their browser on Safari or Chrome, it doesn't put a pop-up that says danger and tries to backtrack them. You need little plugins for all the little pop-ups that you want to do, and now you got to go design those things. And so websites and focusing on your site is just not a good use of your time when you're below 15K. I would rather you get to 15K for 3 months in a row and pay someone on Fiverr, pay a freelancer, pay someone in your family who knows websites or is wanting to learn them. Find a friend who's a freelancer and pay one of your friends to take care of those things for you. And even when you do that, you will discover how big of a project it actually is. On top of websites not converting, all of this can also be applied to the funnel softwares that are out there, the ClickFunnels, the landing pages, the insert whatever sort of funnel software here. Is that you can make all of these things, and then think about it. You're gonna make your pretty little funnel, okay? You're gonna take the high converting funnel that Russell's telling you about or Lead Pages is telling you about. You're going to assume that's going to work for you. You're going to go and optimize it and design it. Now you need an email service provider to capture the emails. Now you got to make the lead magnet and tie it all in. Now you need emails to follow up with it. And I'm not saying that any individual one of those things or all of those things are the wrong thing to do at a certain point in your online business. But if you're wanting clients this month, if you're wanting to get 3 to 5 clients every month, if you're wanting to get to 15K a month, it's just not something that you have to worry about. And so getting back to the point, when you think about it, you go and do all of that work and you make your pretty little funnel. What are you going to do with that link the second it's done? You're going to walk your happy ass over to social media and you're going to put the link in your bio and you're going to talk about it on your story. And then think about that. You finally have someone's attention on the story. Someone's actually looking at your bio, and then you want to bounce them out of the platform. If you were Mark Zuckerberg, would you want people bouncing others out of your platform? Share your links in your story, share your links on your bio, and watch how minimized your reach becomes over time. The point of these platforms, in order for them to make money, because they're a business too, and this is, like I said, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. So we should not get mad or hold anger or hate in our hearts for these platforms, their founders, or anyone related in that nature, for them wanting to keep eyeballs and attention on their platform, because you and the people using the social platform, they are the product. They're selling that data in the form of advertisements. And most of those advertisements for many of those people, especially for coaches, aren't making them any money. You got to focus on the right things first. And so you're going to take that link for the landing page or your website, you're going to go put it on social media, whereas you already had their attention on your bio, on your story, and you could have just called them to action right there. So if you zoom out, what you're actually doing is injecting an unnecessary step that's only complicating the process for your prospects to become a client. Far better would it be, if you are going to have a link and you are going to bounce someone out, is to send them to an application for them to book a call. And furthermore, most people aren't going to come to your bio, see your link in the story, and book a call with you. So even better is to use social media, to get people interested and give away free value and free resources and not complicated by putting it on landing pages or anything like that, just sending them the damn thing in the DM and having a conversation with them right then and there and asking them about their pains and problems, what their number one struggles are, what they need most right now. Are they looking for some help? Making them offers and invitations for them to take the next step. So way more effective is going to be Calendly, which is free, and using that in your bio, which no one's really going to use. But moreover, when someone does ask you for a lead magnet that you shared, that you waved in front of the camera, or when you say that you have a resource, or when you say you have this thing, now you have a chance to have a conversation and say, are you open to some help? Would you be totally against hopping on and, for 20, 30 minutes and brainstorming a plan together about that thing that they just shared with you, about that problem, and then sending them the link, not saying go click in my bio, saying here's the link, better, asking for permission. Is it okay with you if I send the link here so we can make it happen? And then copying the link, pasting it, saying go there now to book a time, and then let me know that you're good to go. And then if you follow what we talked about, where was it? One second, team. This dead air time will be edited out. But we had an episode where we talked about this specifically and getting people to book a call with you. I just can't seem to find it right now as my spreadsheet is growing. If you follow what we've talked about in these last episodes, right, in this show of what it takes to actually get people to book the call with you, how to have that conversation, and what to do inside of there, and better yet, damn it, I really need this episode, so give me 1 second. Let's grab your website. And if you follow what we talked about in episode 55 about how you increase the chances and your show up rate that your prospects show up to sales call, if you follow the tips I have for you in episode 55, you're far more likely to actually wind up with that prospect on the call across from you. And now, if you follow the framework that we talked about, in episode 69, where I handed you on a silver platter the flow of a sales call that actually gets clients, now you're cooking with gas, and now your chances of landing the client have now become exponential. The second reason why social media is the only funnel that you need is because websites in 2023, they just don't convert. They don't get you free exposure. They do nothing for you right now. Then waste your time. So focus on first things first. The third reason why social media is the only funnel that you need, repeat after me, is because simplicity scales and complexity fails. If you're constantly modeling what other people are doing because you think that's what you have to do to get to where they're at, then you're going to be misled. The reality of the matter is that you have to do the right things in the right order at the right time for enough time to become successful as an online coach. And all the coaches that you want to model, me included, we're doing the things necessary for the step that we're at in business. And so when you find a coach that understands the pathway of going from 0 or some stalled sales to getting to 3 to 5 clients a month, which if you follow what I share with you here in the show and in the Get Clients program and the Leverage Coach group, should be a minimum of 15K every month because you got your money math right. Now you have the recipe to actually get to a point where you can focus on all the fun things. Furthermore, the more steps you add into your funnel, the more technology, the more plugins, the more automations that you need, the more problems that you're going to have in your system. You want your system to be as simple as possible and no simpler. And everything that you add only complicates your funnel and lowers the chances of you getting the client every single week and every single month. Okay, so those are the 3 reasons why social media is the only funnel that you need. Now I thought it'd be helpful to give you a couple tips for if this is internalized, like what to do next and what to think about when it comes to your strategy for using social media as your funnel. The first tip I have for you is a big one, and if you only follow this one, you will find yourself with a consistent business that grows over time. And that's focusing on one platform to get to 3 to 5 clients every month for a minimum of 3 months in a row. So you should be hitting 15K a month from one platform 3 months in a row before you start thinking about any others. So I don't care if it's TikTok or if it's Facebook or a Facebook group or if it's your email list or if it's Instagram or if it's whatever. You got to find one platform. So email shouldn't really be inside of there for you right now, but I don't care if it's Threads, if it's Clubhouse, if it's whatever. If you focus on more than one platform, you are scattering your energy. Universe rewards speed of implementation and organization. And when you can organize your energy, your actions, and your focus on one platform, now you're able to best use that platform, to best understand that platform. I'd rather you mentally dig a 100-foot hole where you understand everything about one platform than to clutter your mind with needing to understand everything. Because when you want to figure out YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and while short form and long form and all these things are kind of similar, the way these platforms all work is all entirely different. And so I would rather have you double, triple, quadruple down on the one platform that you want to focus on for the next 12 months. And then at the end of the 12 months, you just do that again. And over time, you'll have the resources to build a team if you would like to build the other platforms. But even when you do that, you run the chances of taking your eye off the prize. Warren Buffett says, put all your eggs in one basket and don't take your eyes off the basket. It's kind of that adage. And so you need one platform to get to 3 to 5 clients. And until you get one platform to bring you 3 to 5 clients every single month, minimum of 15K, do not focus on any other platforms. Maybe get your username and then disable all of them, delete them from your phone. That way you don't get yourself distracted and give yourself the urge to want to go and build these other platforms. The second tip I have for you stems from what we talked about in episode 61, where we talked about the direct response method of getting your prospects to DM you a specific word. So you should be optimizing your bio and also calling your market to action. Your bio should be problem and pain based on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and it should be giving your prospects the next step. So maybe it's teeing up a resource like your lead magnet, and you should have a killer lead magnet because of what we talked about. Where did it go? The underdog. It just went live the other day. Hit these metrics. Why the name of it doesn't matter. How to build. Man. Because of what we talked about in episode 62, where I showed with you what makes a killer lead magnet, go listen to episode 62, make an amazing lead magnet, and then put it in your bio and have them DM you a word for it. Like the word I would use is clients. Maybe you say strategy, maybe you say action, maybe you say guide, PDF, but you call your audience action. Single moms wanting their high school body bags, DM me 10 pounds, DM me mom, DM me health, and I'll send you my 3 tips for getting your high school body back. So that when that single mom finds your bio, she's not thinking, can this person help me? Is this person a fraud? Has this person helped anyone else? She's thinking about the problems that she has, and you're meeting her halfway. And now she can say, yeah, I want that guide. Let me DM them that word. They follow, they like some content. They're going to be binging on your stuff if you're following what we're talking about here on this show and focusing on pains and problems. And then when you get to it, you send them the guide, and then you ask her, how long have she been dealing with this? Hey, here's the guide. You send it manually in the chat, in the DM. You say, go and have a read, and then let me know here in the chat what you found most valuable. And then no matter what, you circle back the next day. And you say something like, hey, by the way, are you looking to drop 10 pounds before summer? Hey, by the way, are you looking for some clients right now? Hey, are you looking to use social media to get clients organically? And then they might come back and say, I kind of am. And you're like, okay, great. I might be able to help. Can I ask you some questions to see if I can? And now you're in a far better position. If you're having that chat once a day, you have far better odds of getting a client by the end of the week than you do by focusing on anything else. The fourth tip, this is one of those that if I only told you this and I only had this airtime to tell you this real quick clip, that you're going to be far more successful in social media than the overwhelming majority of other coaches. And that's focus on conversations and not vanity metrics. You do not need to be verified. You don't need thousands of followers in order to get a client every single week or month from social media. What you do need to do is focus on pains and problems and focus on getting people to respond back to you and to have a conversation with you and know what to do to be starting conversations organically every single day. And when you do that, you don't need tons of followers, tons of likes, tons of interactions. Do not focus or care about getting likes on your stuff. Do not focus or care about getting comments on your stuff. Focus on putting out content that talks and is centered around pains and problems and starting conversations. And you're in a far better spot than the 90% of coaches using social media to be getting clients. Lastly, for my tips, and then I have a resource for you to build off of this. Show up daily. When you find that platform, show up daily and use everything that you can inside of there. So if it's Instagram, you have a minute every single day to put up a minute story. So every single day you should be going on your story for a minute and talking about the pains and problems and giving a resource, sharing something else, saying send me this word, or just popping up to show value. Maybe that is you do a story and the next day you do another story, but you turn yesterday's story into a reel. And then you turn, at the end of the week, all of those reels into a guide on Instagram. And now you have been using all of the different aspects, and then you put them in your highlights. And then you say in your bio, look up the highlights. And then as you build success stories, you start to pepper those in everywhere. And now you have the recipe for social media to be sending you leads and clients every single week and every single month. Now, at the beginning of the episode, I mentioned a resource that I have for you that could help you out with this. If you couldn't tell already, or if you don't follow me on social, I'm a big fan of using the story on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Twitter. Yes, I'm on Snapchat still. Love Snapchat. Because it's, for me, in my personality, it's easy to just hit record and go at it for a minute and then end it, and then I can get right back into business. And I showed up daily. I showed my expertise. Clients are watching. Prospects who are considering working together are watching. And then suspects who are a little bit suspect of me, wondering if I can help them, wondering about my business, wondering if it's for them, they're also watching. So I have no problem showing up for a minute every single day and sharing a podcast episode, sharing a resource, sharing a tip, sharing an idea, sharing a thought. Because if I'm not willing to do that, then do I even deserve the clients? Do I deserve for social media to send me free exposure? So when you find your platform, show up daily and get it done and use the story, I think it's the easiest one. And so if you want to use stories to get clients, I have a free resource for you. It is a training that I have over in the Leverage Coach group where I show you how to use story, how to stay fresh on story, and I give you a little bit of a content calendar to use every single week so that your stories and your presence on social media can be cohesive, and so that you are not just wasting your time if you don't quite know yet what to do on story, if you haven't really mastered it yet. In fact, you could apply this to really any part of Instagram, Facebook, any of these platforms, even TikTok. So if you would like a copy of that, all you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the word story, and I will share with you where you can go and get that, and share with you even where you can get the workbook for it so that you can draw on it, implement it, print it out if that's what you like, put it on your iPad or your iPhone, whatever the case is, so that you can start to plan your story a bit more meticulously, and so you can plan it with the intention of generating leads and clients every single week. Whenever you are ready, here are 3 ways I can help you grow your online business. First, download your free copy of GetBookedCRM. Coaches, are you still managing your leads and pipeline from the DM and Instagram, Messenger on Facebook, or your email inbox, where you're losing leads in the cracks and you're leaving a lot of money on the table every single month? That's why I created GetBookedCRM. What started out as a tool for me, my own business, has quickly become the favorite tool of my clients and many members in the Leverage Coach community. And right now in August 2023, it's 100% free. To download your free copy, all you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the letters CRM. Second, join my free group for online coaches. I've got almost 1,000 coaches in the Leverage Coach community who are just a couple steps ahead of you at the exact same stage and steps that you're at, working through the same problems, wondering the same questions, or maybe a step or two behind where you're at right now. And my belief is that all ships rise in a high tide. Get access to me, access to them, and access to free resources to help you grow your online business and other things I find helpful for growing my business as I find them and I share them in the group. To get your free invitation now, all you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the word group, or drop group wherever you're getting this episode. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting a couple coaches together this month to implement my methods and frameworks for injecting a minimum of 15K worth of new clients into your online coaching business or doubling your client roster over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But finding the right people is super important to me, so only respond to this if you are a relationship-focused coach who always puts the human ahead of the money. You've been coaching for at least 1 year. You'd like to get 3 to 5 clients organically from social media every single month without wasting time and money on paid ads. You have at least 300 friends on Facebook, Instagram, a social media platform, or list or group. You are willing to take bold action because you know that your success depends upon it. And last but most importantly, you can keep a secret. If that's you, I want you to grab your phone right now, tap that Instagram app and search at What Up Jeremy, and then send me the words case study. When you do that, I'll ask you a couple questions about your vision for your online business, and then I'll share with you what we have coming up this month in the Get Clients program. I'll also be happy to share with you what wins our students are experiencing, like Juan, who set up for a 60K month this month in August, or like John Allen, who got $3,500 worth of clients in his first week in the program. All you have to do is grab your phone right now, find me on Instagram, and send me the words case study. That's it for this episode of Client by Client. See you in the next one. Cheers. Thank God the air kicked on because it was getting warm in here. If you found this helpful, one, thank you for tuning in. If you made it all the way through the end, drop me the word Friday in all caps. That'll be our cue. And then let me know what's been the highlight. Let me know what's been the focus. And if there's anything I can do to help you to grow your online business, do not hesitate to reach out. Universe rewards speed of implementation or organization. So the second you get unclear, reach out for help. I don't care if it's to me, the coach you have right now, or another coach. Get the help that you need. That's what's going to get you to where you want to be the fastest. And if you're not ready for some coaching, it's all good. I gave you a couple of free resources and where to get them. And I have tons of other free stuff. So don't hesitate to reach out and to ask for any of those or ways that I can help you. Those who DM me and ask for help know how far out I go for free to get them to where they need to be, regardless if they work with me in the future. This is just what I'm here on earth to do at this point in my life. And so I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to reach out. That's it for me, team. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.